Reese, a moment of your time. What is your We Discover's approach to location targeting?
There's a few different approaches depending on the account, but I'd ask Michael on the tech team because his way of doing it is pretty next level.
Hey Michael, I'm advertising the location for one of my clients' shops, and I'm trying to draw optimal radius, but one of her shops is next to the Thames, and basically I've been told to speak to you because you're expert at this field. So do you have any advice?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's something called an isochrone, and what that is the area which you can reach from a certain point via some form of transport. So what's relevant for most people is probably going to be like driving in a car, but you could do this with walking or public transport, anything you want. And actually, I've got something right here which demonstrates it quite well. What we can see on the screen here is a representation of an isochrone around a point. So you can see that blue dot in the middle is the point that we're calculating that drive time radius around, and this red area is everywhere that you can get within a certain amount of time driving. Along bigger roads you can get further, rivers can get in the way. So yeah, this kind of represents exactly what you're looking for. I'd say for us at We Discover, it gets a little bit more complicated because what we often want to do is use this for like location targeting in platforms like Google Ads. And Google Ads only actually allows you to do this type of location targeting with a circular radius around a specific coordinate. So our next challenge is to turn this complicated looking isochrone into a perfect circle. So you can see this blue pin is like the location itself, and then those red dots are like the edges of where you can get within the edges of that isochrone, where you can get within a certain drive time. So we've got that, but we can't feed that directly into Google Ads. So our next step is to estimate that as best we can with coordinate and a circle, and that's what we've got. So yeah, this is something that we've used for clients and tested and got some good results with.
So just to clarify, the blue circle is the shop you're advertising, and the green circle is the point you will feed to Google Ads as a center of a radius.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the blue dot is the actual location, and you can see that the center of the actual circle we give to Google Ads has shifted like south a lot, away from the river, because we can't go as far north because the river is in the way.
Do you have any real life examples with clients?
Yes, so we've done this with a client, and Aldo has a lot of context on that. So yeah, go and have a chat with him.
Hey Aldo, I just spoken to Michael, and he mentioned that you're another person who has a lot of experience with radii, and I just wonder, what is your approach when it comes to location targeting?
Hey Alex, we've worked with an extensive list of clients and different accounts. Across most clients, location targeting tends to be something that we just enable and leave on. Most clients will do some form of nationwide targeting. However, the challenges will come when the clients that we work with are local clients, meaning they have physical shops that they want to track footfall into. With these types of accounts, having nationwide targeting isn't really suitable because you'll have areas that you won't be able to service because they'll be outside of your catchment area. One of the examples of a client that we've worked with in the past were veterinarian clinics. This was an account that essentially had clinics dotted all around the UK, from the countryside to kind of large metropolitan areas. The challenge at hand here is that these are not just dots scattered across the UK, but rather these are clinics that exist to service people with a sick animal. If you think about this a little bit more deeply, no one really wants to put a distressed animal in a car for 45 minutes, especially if it's an emergency, right? Distance is always going to be kind of the number one decision factor. We have a sort of Goldilocks problem here. We have to find a balance between a target area that is too big, right? If it's too large, it means that we waste money on people who won't drive that far. But if it's also too small, we miss a lot of potential customers that would have driven there. Therefore, the standard Google city targeting or just a very generic 5-kilometer radii targeting fails here. So what we need to do is that we need to start translating Google's location targeting format, so radii, and translate that into kind of from distance to time to travel. And we got to make sure that each shop has a catchment area with a custom size that is correct for that area.
How accurate is the Google targeting? Because I'm assuming they know our IP addresses.
When you actually look at the data, we find that the smaller the radii, Google's ability to actually pinpoint the user dropped significantly. More specifically,
Really?
Yeah. So if you look at a catchment area, a radii that's around 10 kilometers wide, it has around an 81% accuracy. So meaning that 81% of the users that an ad has been served to
It's within a circle.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But when we actually reduce this radii to around 2 kilometers, the accuracy plummeted to roughly 41%. So that is a significant drop.
So Google actually needs enough data to start making those decisions. If you're not giving enough room to work with, then it's basically starting to guess.
Exactly. So this is where we layer several different factors. We can't just use kind of a flat, kind of the tech to decide on a flat kind of driving distance, but rather we also have to make sure that the output of this tech tool is large enough for Google to actually be able to accurately serve. So we kind of lay a platform reality on top of technology, on top of real live kind of driving data into a single decision. Obviously, Alex, this is a very complex setup that takes a significant amount of resource and time to design and implement. The question is obvious, right? Is it worth investing all of their time and tech into this type of project? The short answer here is absolutely, based on the data. So this is what we think kind of separates kind of standard agency work from kind of high performance work. So from moving away from kind of a standardized targeting approach where we used flat radii across essentially all of different locations spread across the UK, we saw some huge shifts in performance. From an efficiency perspective, the cost per visit essentially dropped by 31%, which is a significant improvement in efficiency. But with that as well, our volume, so the total amount of visits that we were able to drive through these clinics, increased by 62%.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very significant numbers. Very excited about the results.
I'm blown away. When I first, started to look into location targeting, I thought it was going to be a simple solution, and I felt like I went down the rabbit hole. But it's incredible to see, you and Michael come up with these technical solutions to what it seems like a simple problem. I hope you can also help to solve my current client challenge for location targeting.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hop on a call anytime. There's a lot we can do.